Starting on the federal advocacy side, the U.S. House and Senate have returned to work in Washington following the August recess and are primarily focused on tackling two priorities before the end of September, which marks the end of the current fiscal year. The second priority is to carve a path forward on phase 4 COVID-19 related stimulus legislation that's acceptable to both parties in both chambers. No easy undertaking. The House passed their version of a phase 4 bill called the HEROES Act, which seems like forever ago, in May, which was immediately declared a non-starter because of the breadth and the cost of that far-reaching legislation. In late July, the Senate introduced a package of bills called the HILS Act that sought to provide about $1 trillion in funding to address COVID-19 related issues. The HILS Act doesn't appear to have gained much traction in the Senate, so leadership is expected to offer a more targeted, less costly bill to address even fewer issues. The slimmed down bill is still expected to include language that authorizes and funds a second round of Paycheck Protection Program loans, provides liability protections to businesses, funding to schools, and for expanded unemployment benefits. With the November elections rapidly approaching, Congress isn't expected, obviously, to spend much, if any, time in October working on policy issues. So what they're able to accomplish in September might be all that we see until after the election. Let's hope they're able to work out a compromise and get targeted help to our members and communities we serve. Now, the Michigan Credit Union League continues to meet with our congressional delegation to advocate for the phase 4 legislation that provides businesses with the PPP loans and automatic forgiveness for those in compliance with the program. Our Congressman Fred Upton helped sponsor legislation that would make this possible, and our Representatives Mitchell, Molinar, and Stevens have thus far co-sponsored the PPP forgiveness bill. Additionally, we're asking our delegation to support phase 4 legislation that includes funding for community development financial institutions and a housing assistance fund. We also continue to educate the delegation on issues like mortgage forbearance, collection and eviction moratoriums, and credit reporting matters, provisions we deemed to be of concern and even detrimental in the HEROES Act. Now, on the state legislative side, the legislature has returned for a couple of weeks this fall before heading back to district to campaign prior to the general election. The second Consensus Revenue Estimating Conference, or CREC, was held, and the deficit for fiscal year 21, the fiscal year 21 budget, was less than previously estimated. So that's good news, but it's still a deep hole to fill. The appropriations committees in both chambers are currently working to finalize that budget. Elsewhere, the governor continues to issue new and renew existing executive orders to address the COVID-19 pandemic at the state level, and we're tracking those developments. On the legislative front as well, our team is working to fine-tune the data breach package that is in the state Senate. The State House recently passed Representative Diana Farrington's data breach package, and upon referral, we expect movement of those bills this fall. The team is also working with a coalition of over 40 other trade associations and business groups to create legislation that addresses COVID-19 employer liability reforms. The bills aim to put in place employer protection and clearer guidelines for employees. On the appropriations front, we continue to socialize our priorities for the 2021 budget. These include funding for the Michigan Saves program and e-recording upgrades across the state. Considering the size of the projected budget deficit, our team knows that this is an uphill battle, but we're working to at least put the framework in place to ensure that these projects are funded, if not this year, then in the 2022 fiscal year budget. Now, our PAC trustees continue to meet monthly to review and make endorsements in the State House, and will continue to do so through this November election. This is such an important process for us to be active with our political action funds as well as our other election advocacy efforts. In regulatory affairs, our team was sad to say goodbye to our colleague Sarah Stevenson after nearly 8 years with the Michigan Credit Union League. She had an opportunity to take a position at the Department of Insurance and Financial Services, and we're excited to be continuing to work with her in that new role. As she departs, our association side is now working closely with our CU Solutions Group subsidiary to wind our member offerings even more closely together. We look forward to making our compliance and regulatory advocacy space more synergized and impactful for our membership, especially in this important area of regulatory compliance support. Now, as we work toward that goal in real time, there are several items in the hopper, including our plan to work in conjunction with the Compliance Network. We want to assist our industry professionals in dialogue and participation with regulators, both DIFs and the NCUA, on critical topics, especially in this COVID-19 environment related to examinations, to UIA and SBA fraud. At their July meeting, the NCUA board issued 3 requests for comment that our team is monitoring, including OTR calculations and the phase-in of CECL. With the virtual Hike the Hill event coming up in October, we're seeking meetings with the NCUA and CFPB to discuss an array of critical topics, including extended examination cycles, streamlined and virtual examination, COVID-19 flexibility, and other specific rule proposals put forward by those agencies. The League has also secured a virtual meeting with the NCUA Eastern Regional Supervisor, John Cutchie, scheduled for our monthly CEO call on September 23rd. John will be looking to discuss many of these key examination and operational issues. As with the legislative side, we will have more information to share on these virtual meetings as the dates draw nearer. Please plan on participating. As always, you can find the most updated information on all of these issues and activities on our mcwl.org website.